Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Every day we break down breaking AI news stories and explain their implications in your life and in business. If you are interested in seeing really interesting AI use cases, make sure to follow me over on x.com, formerly Twitter, as I will be sharing some really cool use cases of AI, and I kind of, retweet some of the greatest things I'm seeing in the space every day. So make sure to follow me at Jaden_AI. I'll drop a link to that, but also my handle is in the podcast cover. I would love to have you in the community. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. GitHub Copilot has a new competitor in town. Today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about a new project that Google has unveiled, which I think is going to give GitHub Copilot a run for their money. And this is kind of the first space that we've seen a really major tech player jump in the arena with Microsoft, who of course is the owner of GitHub and GitHub Copilot. And we're seeing some really strong competition. So let's dive into it. So this latest project out of Google is called IDX. And essentially this is an AI-infused browser-based development platform that is suitable for creating full-stack web and multi-platform applications. So the platform currently accommodates a couple different popular frameworks, including Angular, Flutter, Next.js, React, and Vue, and then also I think Svelte. But it also integrates languages like JavaScript, Dart, and there's, a little bit of news that pretty soon they're going to start supporting Python, Go, and then a few others. So interestingly enough, I think Google chose not to start from scratch by creating a new IDE. They've actually built project IDX on the backbones of the open source Visual Studio Code. So this strategic move, I think, really allowed Google's engineers to kind of use their energy towards integrating Cody, which is a foundational model based on Google's PaLM 2, and they specifically tailored it for programming tasks. So the integration of Cody into IDX brings with it essentially the ability of smart code completion and an intelligent chatbot, which is very similar to ChatGPT and Google Bard. And this chatbot really stands ready to help developers with with some very generic stuff, and then also some very content-specific coding queries. So they're really starting to extend its utility to get complex code and even prompting users to add contextual code actions such as inserting comments. So in an official statement, the IDX team shared their vision, and this is what they said, quote, "We spend a lot of time writing code, and recent advances in AI have created big opportunities to make that time more productive. With Project IDX, we're exploring how Google's innovation in AI, including the Cody and PaLM 2 models that power StudioBot in Android Studio, Duet in Google Cloud, and beyond, can not only expedite the coding process, but also elevate code quality." So given its kind of cloud-centric nature, it doesn't come as a surprise that Project IDX is really seamlessly integrated into Google's Firebase hosting and also Google Cloud Functions. And developers can also really smoothly transition existing code from GitHub repositories. So moreover, every IDX workspace is equipped with a Linux-based virtual machine, and in the pipeline are embedded simulators for Android and iOS. So all accessibility, essentially all of this is really accessible directly from your browser, which a lot of people are really interested in and really excited about, versus having to download something onto your computer and run a software where you're doing this. A lot of different coding environments, that is the case. This is kind of interesting because this is directly on your browser. And I think this, for one, kind of signals the move from a lot of kind of computer-based software to more cloud-based software. I mean, I, for one, am a big fan. I personally kind of hate downloading things on my computer and, relying on my computer's RAM and memory to run stuff. I know people probably have more souped up computers than myself, and so that isn't as much of a problem. But I think for a lot of people, this is going to be awesome. In addition to just the fact that, no matter where you go, you log into your account. If it's cloud-based, it's very easy to transition stuff around. So the cloud-based the cloud-based aspect of that is quite appealing. And I think that they've actually gotten some feedback from some early testers on this, and there's kind of a mixture of optimism and caution. So preliminary reviews suggest that while IDX chatbot functions are promising, its integration with the source code appears to be somewhat loose. So I think there are limitations such as the inability to, directly tweak the code, and also a lack of awareness regarding the user's selected tool within the editor. However, I think Google is quick to emphasize that this is just kind of at the very beginning stages, and the IDX team is poised to roll out a whole bunch of new features and capabilities as the project starts to mature. So I think in a landscape where platforms like GitHub's Copilot and Amazon's Code Whisperer are already, offering AI-enhanced coding utilities, Google's kind of first step into the full stack development field introduces a really new perspective. Both GitHub with Code Spaces and Amazon with AWS Cloud 9 are already in the game essentially with their cloud-based development environments. And so I think Google jumping in is a really big move. And I think Google also brings to the table its Cloud Code IDE plugins, which potentially could enable Cody's integration into almost all leading IDEs, which I think is a really big deal. So while Project IDX serves as, it's kind of like a testament to Google's AI abilities for the developer community, I think it does remain a topic of interest, whether this is actually going to evolve into the go-to IDE for developers for all of their different development needs, or if this is going to be something that just doesn't quite keep up with competitors and gets pushed to the wayside and ends up on the Twitter handle, killed by Google. So I think it'll be interesting to see where this goes, but I really do think this is healthy for the environment as a whole. We already have Amazon, we already have Microsoft in this game, and I think getting another player, Google, in this is always healthy. And then we're going to see some really good competition, and hopefully these tools progress to a point where they're incredibly powerful and incredibly useful for developers. So I, for one, am excited about this, and this is definitely an area I'll continue to follow.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate us wherever you listen to your podcast. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure to check out our Discord channel and Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast where we can share software, tools, and prompts we're using in AI every day. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.